Local history. Local culture. Local events. Your community. This is the Joe Kelly Show.
Hi there, everybody. Welcome to the show. Thanks for joining us. The United County Executive is our guest, Anthony Picente. He was first appointed to, let me see if I get this right now. He was first appointed to the job in 2007. He replaced Joe Griffo, who went on to the state senate. And then after being appointed to the job five times, reelected.
Five times.
Wow.
Yeah.
You've got to be the longest serving.
Oh, without doubt. Yeah, well, yeah. I passed it on the third time.
Yeah.
That was kind of easy because nobody ever served more than 2 terms.
Yeah, that plus the fact that there haven't been that many county, not like UTICA mayor or things like that, because we had that other form of government in Oneida County. I wanted to start off by giving you a chance to talk about Steve DeMio.
Oh, yes.
I know he's a good friend of yours. He just passed recently, and I always thought that he was appreciated.
Underappreciated?
He just didn't get much press, and maybe he wanted it that way. I don't know, but
Steve was, first of all, a dear friend and a colleague for many, many years. I had the pleasure of working with him really in my first stint in county government way back in the 80s and 90s, and then as I moved through and with the state and then back with the county. But Steve had started, obviously, he started out of state after school, and then he came back here in the 80s and worked in Utica, running the city's Department of Urban and Economic Development.
Yeah.
And then moved on to Griffiths. At the time of the closure and realignment, he was chosen by a group of electeds at that time to head up what became the Griffiths Local Development Corporation, and then morphed along with the IDA into Mohawk Valley Edge, and really devoted his life and career to redevelopment in this county and in this community, and really staked out the work that has been done at Griffiths, the redevelopment of what was a military base with all kinds of different buildings and roadways, and to rehab that into a thriving business and technology park. Really, Steve doesn't get the credit he deserves.
I remember standing on a corner. What would the gate be that you came in off of Black River Boulevard? That gate.
For Black River, Chestnut Street.
Chestnut Street.
Chestnut Street gate.
And there was a lot of people there with signs, most of them because the BRAC commissioners were coming into Griffiths to take a look at it, and they were there in support. In fact, Joe Griffo was on that same street corner. And so many people were saying that that's the end of Rome. Once Griffiths goes as an air base, that's it. You fold up the sidewalks. And boy, just the opposite is happened.
And Steve was the driving force and the persistence behind it. And he, as has been said, never sought the accolades, but really deserves the yeoman's credit on that, because he ate, slept, and drank, and just all of that. And he had the unique, I've worked with a lot of people over the years in economic development and government and whatever. He had the unique perspective of being able to have a piece of all of the attributes that go along with economic development. He had a vision of what the big picture could be, could put the financial pieces together like that, understood the landscape and what land use was like and roadways and all of that, and really was able to blend it all together. And it was a unique talent that not everybody can do. And even in the world of economic development, there are people that focus on those different aspects. Steve had all of them. And we won't see that. I mean, that's really a unique piece. And he loved this community, and he, And we're going to miss him. I'm going to miss him.
Yeah. His wife was on the school board.
She was. His wife, Diane, lovely woman, person, and his family. Really, I mean, she's been a part of actually the League of Women Voters. She was on the school board. She worked with many local agencies. So, my heart goes out to them and has. And like I said, we're going to miss him. And it's up to us to carry on that legacy.
Now, what happens in that for that job?
Well, the EDGE board will get together with the other boards that are associated, because Steve wore many hats. He oversaw EDGE, he oversaw GLDC, the Griffiths Local Development Corp. He was a player in the Industrial Development Agency as well. And so those agencies, along with the county, will come together and like I said, it's going to be tough shoes to fill, but in the meantime, we've got to keep moving, and we'll figure it out.
So you'll have a role in that?
Yes, we will, because we're, as the county, the EDGE is the economic development arm. Even though we have an economic development director in county government, he works hand in hand with EDGE, but EDGE serves as our arm of economic development because of we fund them to we're their largest funding source, governmental, and their interests coincide with ours. It's a joint venture in terms of what we want to see. Whether it is in Griffiths, whether it's in downtown Utica, whether it's in Rome, whether it's in any part of the county, it's in our interest to be a part of that.
And how many jobs are at Griffiths these days?
Oh, I think the last time we talked about it was, we're up to somewhere around 9,000. I mean, when you add in the military aspect that's still there between the Air Force Research Lab and DFAS and EADS, but then, the businesses, the banking, the financial side of it, the technology side. I mean, it really has evolved into a unique and one of the best business and technology parks in the country.
And there's a potential for a lot more jobs coming up with this Triangle project. We'll talk about that when we come back. Tony Picente is our guest. He's United County Executive. Short break, right back. And welcome back, everybody. Thanks for sticking with us. The Oneida County Executive, Anthony Picente, is with us. We're talking about Griffiths right now. And if we have some time, we'll get into some other areas as well. But a big opportunity, is it not, for Griffiths with this, what they call the Triangle project?
The Triangle site is a unique site at Griffiths. It's something that we started talking about Steve DeMille. Steve and I had been looking at this for a long time, and in particular because it's such a big site, and it's at the northwest end of the runway, and it's a site of about 330 acres, and it abuts the area where the golf course is over there, which also is a potential for development. But we've been, along with all the other pieces we've been doing at Griffiths, we've been kind of holding off on this a little bit until we got all the other sites lined up. And this has now become really a premier site, not just in Oneida County, not just in New York, really. I mean, it's one of the biggest, if not the biggest now. Now that White Pines has been selected for Micron out in Syracuse, the Triangle becomes the biggest site in upstate New York and in New York State for development. And if we attach on later possibly the golf course piece, it becomes even bigger. So looking at it, and it's a shape of a triangle, hence the Triangle site, the way it lays at the very end of the runway and behind, for people to understand, behind the baseball fields that are over there towards the back end. And the idea is, and the concept is, and we just obtained a state grant of approximately $23 million to develop the site, to put in electrical, sewer, water, all of the roadways, so that, again, it becomes a shovel-ready site for development. But the concept on it and the idea of development centers around, obviously, technology, and since we are so heavily focused on that, and in the supply chain of technology, though, not particular fab, because we have the fab that's located in Marcy, and room for more development on the manufacturing side. We're looking at the triangle on the supply chain side. And supply chain is really, what, after the chip is made, where does it go? And I know I get asked a lot, well, what's supply chain? Because people think it's just shipping or moving goods from one to another. It's not. It's the actual packaging. So whether it's a cell phone, or whether it's a telephone, or whether it's other devices, other electronic devices, be it televisions, be it computers, be it anything that the chip then that is now manufactured, in the case that we have here at Wolfspeed, or will be eventually in Micron or any place else, gets put into the device, and therein is the supply chain. And so the focus will be get that site ready. We've already begun talking to some companies about locating there, and it has the potential for a massive size development because of the acreage.
And the location of it seems to be ideal.
It's extremely ideal because,
I mean, not on Griffiths, but between Wolfspeed.
Between Wolfspeed and Micron,
Yeah.
it is ideal in that regard. But it's also because Griffiths does give the ability, and the proximity, allows for easy access to shipping, and remember, we've got an airport there too.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
we have that availability of transport of those goods and those products that, if they're produced there and packaged there, can be easily airlifted or shipped out through vehicles, because the Griffiths Parkway and all of that access gives great availability for moving the goods out of there.
Has there been any projection made on the number of potential jobs?
Potential job growth could be in the 3,000 job range, just because of when you conceptually look at the size of the facilities that can go there on such a large footprint, and then estimating what kind of jobs they would be. But and that might even be on the light side of things, given what Micron and what Wolfspeed is doing. Wolfspeed is growing each day. They're up to 400, I think it's at 485 now, and that's ahead of the projections. They were scheduled to get to about 650 in the first 5 to 10 years. They're already, in just this short time, nearing the 500 mark.
The location at Griffiths, you point out that runway. Who owns that runway?
We do. The county does.
And does the federal government come in there to help at all with that runway?
They do. With the FAA, because it's a municipal airport, and falls in line with any other airports, the FAA obviously has to approve development, has to oversee our usage and our format and repairs and all that. And we get considerable amount of money from the FAA in terms of working in that, in terms of whether it's infrastructure repairs of the runway, whether it's lighting, whether it's other radar systems and such. Obviously, we rely heavily on the FAA to help us do that.
What a beautiful runway that is. If you're a small plane pilot, you need less than half of that runway to take on. It's such a long,
You do, it is.
wide runway. Where are we in the time frame of all this? Right at the beginning?
Well, right at the beginning, kind of, although we've been marketing this site, obviously. We've been talking about it with other developers and as I mentioned, supply chains and other companies. Obviously with, Micron is still, in the early stages too, so it gives us that time period. But the award of the grant from the state allows us to get to work this year on the water and sewer connections that are necessary there, the roadway that will extend and be widened, and then another roundabout in that area for access. So we're going to be working on it right away, and hopefully, in the next, as we do it, the benefit is, we can be doing this and still attracting, potential companies, and so it could all coincide together, and hopefully within the next couple years, we'll see some development there.
Power is a big element up there too, right?
Power is, but we have because of what is available. I mean, it's 50 megawatt, which is significant for those types of businesses, and that's that's a big plus for what we're able to do up there.
Mm-hmm. The Griffiths landscape up on what used to be Sack Hill. It's been a while since I've been up there, but they used to have a lot of airplanes parked up there. Mm-hmm. And I know the county was in a dispute with the owners. They wanted those airplanes out.
Well, we have been. I mean, some of the other ones, they're down a little more below Sack Hill, just on the far part of the runway, the eastern part of the runway, of which Family Dollar Distribution Center is kind of right there at that end part. And we have been, obviously there has been some companies that have left aircraft that went bankrupt. So some of those are being removed as we speak. And it's a big, when you leave a 747 or a 757, the carcass itself is a lot to move.
What, are they going to get chopped up for scrap?
Pretty much. That's what happens to them.
All right. We've got more to talk about. Tony Picente is our guest. We'll be right back. Short break, right back. And welcome back, everybody. Thanks for sticking with us. Oneida County Executive Anthony Picente is our guest. We're talking about a variety of issues affecting Oneida County. Let's see if we can get through a bunch of them in the last segment that we've got here.
Okay.
Mr. County Executive, Indium celebrated a big anniversary.
90 years. Started another one of these companies that started in the garage, and you hear so many of those. I think we have to be one of those communities that have the most of those stories. I think when you look at that, and really a company that we talked about the other day at the ceremony, been doing technology, nanotechnology, really before anybody even knew it was nanotechnology, and a very successful company and worldwide, and just a great place to work, and have locations throughout this county, which I'm thrilled about.
And it's a company, I think, that has kind of sailed under the radar. They don't get a lot of press either.
They don't, but but you drive through. They're in Utica, they're in Clinton, they're in Rome, they're in New Hartford. I mean, so they're throughout this county, and so doing a great job, and really proud of them.
Turning to sports, a lot of sports activity. I know at church on Sunday, Father Hage had him stand up twice for applause. The Notre Dame
girls,
won state title.
State title.
Yeah.
Utica University is headed to to the championships and the, men's hockey. So I mean, we've got a lot of activities, and we've got the Women's World USA USA Hockey Women's World Championships coming up in. I forget the exact days, but it's April. April 3rd is the first one, and 10 countries. 9 plus the United States.
And the Nexus Center has been just such a great addition to our area. Huh?
I mean, we talk about it every day. It's completely exceeded, I think, even in the short time, our expectations. We knew that we had something special that we were building, but I don't think any of us, and including, I was with Rob Esch the other night, and we talked again, that I don't think any of us thought it would propel as fast as it did, and have the number of tournaments. We have a big tournament there this week for the next 10 days. It's just amazing.
Well, there was one of the things that you'd always hear hockey parents complain about. There just wasn't enough places to get ice time.
Right.
And
but also they had to travel.
Yeah.
And now, the nice thing is we can bring those tournaments here, and they don't have to. Our people, at least, we get the benefit of the tourist attraction from throughout the Northeast and really throughout the country. It's really amazing to see the families and where they come from.
Yeah. Last time you were here, earlier this winter, you mentioned that Oneida County DPW snowplows were going to get tracking. You said it was just about ready to start. Is it started?
It started. I mean, the good news is we haven't had to do a lot of plowing this year, except for, recently. And so the GPS allows for people to see in real time where those plows are and where they're going through, in the county. And hopeful that obviously it's good for us, in terms of tracking, but it's also good for people to understand, when they're traveling throughout the county, or they need to know when their particular roadway or area, if they're going to work or whatever, they can go online and see exactly where those plows are.
And where do they go online?
ocgov.net is our website, and that will lead them right to the Department of Public Works and to the site for that.
The Wind Hospital. Give us your perspective on how things are going down there.
Well, I think like everything else, in the early stages, there's always the confusion and and the warranted or unwarranted criticisms that come along with that. But I think that the people had to grasp that going from 2 hospital systems for over hundreds of years, and of the 2 of them into one building had to come with some growing pains. But all in all, I've been hearing from people, more and more lately about what a great experience it is, how wonderful it is, and what a different environment. The individual rooms, the large corridors, the accommodations is such, is such an upgrade from what the other 2 facilities were. And if we can get that garage done, we've got a little delays. We've had some delays over the last, over the last couple months due to supply chain problems with steel and with elevators and other pieces. Once we get that done, I think that'll smooth off some of the parking issues, and well, I know it will, and it'll make for the aesthetics of the exterior a lot better too. But all in all, seems to be on the right track.
When do you expect the garage to be open?
Early summer.
Okay. It was forecast to be in the spring.
It was supposed to be, but
early summer is not bad.
We hit some roadblocks, and unfortunate. Construction is a tough piece, and it's hurt. It's been hurt, throughout the pandemic and even coming out of it. Workforce, supplies, those kind of things. So, look, the goal is do it right, make it safe. So we'll open when all of those conditions are met.
Artificial intelligence. Everybody's talking about artificial intelligence these days. I'm not sure I know what it is, number one. And number two, is there a place for Oneida County to be in all this?
There is, and the issue of artificial intelligence, as there's a lot of people that don't understand what it is. It's the ability of technology to really create different aspects of everyday work and life and business, whether it's writing, whether it's producing, whether it's imaging. But Senator Griffo and I we're scheduled to hold a kind of a mini hearing, or if you will, or a forum on it, and it got postponed because of weather a couple weeks ago. But we're scheduled in the next couple weeks to do it again. We'll be talking more about that, and in the first week of April. And that'll give people an opportunity to really see what and listen and hear from some experts about how it will affect everyday life, but also how we can use it to an advantage and not a disadvantage.
Mm. And we seem to be well situated physically in Oneida County with all this stuff going on, technology to.
We do.
So,
we do, and we have
right.
a lot. We have a lot to build upon.
When you come back sooner rather than later, I hope we can talk about that, how that
Sounds
goes.
good.
Always good to see you. Thank you.
Great to be here.
That's going to be it for this week. We'll be back next week. We'll do it all again. Don't forget cnyhomepage.com. There's lots of good stuff there. Until next time, take care of yourself, everybody.